Right, guys, so yesterday I tried to do this. I tried to do it for the second time. So here's my third attempt at showing you guys how to do the sanding. What we're going to start out with today is going to be the 600. Probably should have had this running before we started. So I'm going to do the 600. I'm just going to start out with all new ones. They give you quite a few of these guys. I think 20 of each size until you get up to the 2000 and the 3000, at which point you get 10 of those. But you won't be going through those as quick. So 800. There's the 1000. 2000 and the 3000. So that is what we're going to do. This little notch over here, that little clip, fell off one of these. I don't know what you guys can see or not. I don't. I have to do this by myself. So one of these fell out. It's just held in by a little screw. As you're sanding and then buffing, you know, these get to be turning a little bit, and I guess it loosened up. So we're also going to get a treat, not today, but on another video, I'll show you how to correctly reapply that screw and make sure that you don't, do anything that's going to damage your boat. So I'm just setting these things up now so they're in the right order. Alright, so what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to do from there to here, back and forth. I hope I got my camera set up correctly for that. So through here, with all of the grits that I just showed you. It's only 72 degrees. Yesterday it got too hot in my camera, which is, again, a very cheap camera. Just gave up and said it was too hot and would not record. So that's what happened yesterday at the end of that video. So this will be be like something like oxidation removal video 2 space 2. And the one from yesterday is 2 space 1. First thing you're going to want to do is wet down the boat in the section that you plan on doing it. A little past on each side because you always go a little over. Alright, and if we remember from yesterday what we're going to do for the pattern, and this is pretty good because I hope you can see there's a big scratch here, a little bit of a scratch there. This is pretty deep. I doubt that's going to all come out. But here's some scratches, and you'll see what they look like at the end of the 3000. But our pattern, again, is going to be a horizontal travel angle and a flat work angle until we get up to here, where I'm going to tilt just a little bit, do one pass, and then come back here on the bottom side of the pad, and I'm going to do that, and then lean it up, do this part of the rib this direction, and then you'll see me continue onward with my half up. So what I mean by that is when you see this width right there, you want to go half of that for your next layer, right? So there's your first layer, go halfway up that and do that for your next layer. That's what I mean by going halfway up. All right, guys. Let's get her good and wet again. Your first time during the day, it always takes a little more. You might see it's kind of pooling up over there. It's probably got a little wax on it from the spot I did yesterday. So there's the area we're going to be doing. Now YouTube, this is why you use one of those spongy pads that we talked about. When you're on top of that corner like that, it does give the sandpaper just a bit of bend. Once again, this being the 600 grit, we're just looking to turn this a little bit red. When we rinse it in a second. Alright, and I always try to shut it down on the boat if by some great chance I remember to do that. Yeah, we're definitely getting color with this, so we know we're into the gel coat. Not into it, YouTube. You know what I'm trying to say, man. We are at the gel coat. I would greatly encourage you not to go into your gel coat too far. We talked about that in another video, but because then you see how this is all kind of like a reddish color there, or brown, whatever. And again, these scratches, I'm not doing much with them. They're not deep, super deep scratches, enough that it's going to bother me about what's going to happen with the gel coat underneath. But I would say right there, that's a pretty good 600. And since we got 8, 1,000, 2, and 3 to go, that's going to be good enough. And that's the trick to this, guys, is make sure that you understand when good enough is. You could spend all day on one spot, and it's probably not going to look that much better in the end of times, right? So, or in the end of things. So. Now I'm going to try to work on this scratch right here a bit. So you'll see me slowing down a lot. You never park this, YouTube, or buddy, or guy, or whatever you want to be called. Now my work angle has changed. I'm up about 10 degrees. And that allows me to get at the scratch without really standing in too far to the gel coat surrounding it. Now I'm going to go on the back half, or the back side. And that just gives a different look at it, if you will. Come over here and just kind of, not really working this one right now. I don't have enough water left on the boat. Just kind of getting things ready. We give her a good spray down and see what we got going for us. Now 600, guys, some people might even drop down to 400 again to try to get at some of these scratches. It's my belief that doing that, trying to get this one little scratch out or make your boat looking perfect, you might actually end up damaging your boat by going a little too far into the gel coat. So these are decisions you as the individual, see, that I can get out. But by the time you polish this boat, these things are not going to be showing up the way that you might suspect they are right now. But I'm going to do a little work right here, and let's see how I can get it. And make sure it doesn't go off. I'm almost done. I'm up to a... Am I recording?
Yeah.
Not sure where that left off, YouTube. I have a camera that tends to overheat, I guess. It's beautiful out. There's no overheating.
Not even sun.
Wish I had some money for a camera, guys. I'm trying to save something up or barter for something, I guess, on Marketplace or something. Sorry about that. That's frustrating for me, too. So I don't know where we left off, but right now we're on 2,000 grit. As I was saying about the 1,000, when you get above 1,000, this son of a gun just floats. You are not putting pressure on this, you're just letting the sanding pad do its job. Your pattern is always halfway up your last mark, swirls if you will. Or even higher, you just don't want to not do enough of it. Now I'm in tow. Straight travel angle. Tilting to the surface of that rib. Nothing new, nothing exciting in that respect. And I'm out of water. And you can see how this stuff just stays right on there, guys, so make sure you do the towel thing like I was showing you. Because you don't want to leave that in there, or you're just going to be pushing it farther and farther into the gel coat, right, at this point. So you want to get that off of there. You don't have to be. Teresa was nice enough to stand there this time and make sure that when the camera shut off, she turned it back on. So we're going for step number 2, or trip number 2, or turn number 2. This is our second time around for the 2,000 grit. You didn't miss nothing this time, guys. Again, just letting this 2,000 float. So we'll spend just a minute here on this one mark. I'm not trying to any longer get this mark out. I am trying to kind of, with the heat that's being put out just a little bit by that sander, I'm trying to kind of just blend the gel into it. And when you know you're at the gel, you can do stuff like that. Alright, I'm running out of water here, guys. Hang on. So like I was saying, the sandpaper puts off a bit of heat. That bit of heat can help some of that really start to try to hide those scratches. Now I got to even all that out, so I'm floating this over there. Now it's good. And you'll feel that. There's no way to describe it other than that. So again, this is second pass on 2,000 grit. That suction was so hard on that pad, it was stopping it from moving. It was not the pressure I was putting on this. It's the suction that builds up on these higher grit sand. So you gotta watch that and break it as soon as it happens, because you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there vibrating this stuff again further into the gel, which you don't want. That's what you're trying to get rid of, right? So don't add to the problem. Stop when that happens. Wipe this crap off. Alright. Yeah. That's when you know you're getting it smooth, guys, is when it just literally is like stuck to it. You know you're getting it to where there's no more grooves, there's no anything, you're flat up against it. That's kind of like a report card. Alright, and now we're going to whiz through the 3000. Gotta try to line these holes up, but unless you I don't know, you're never gonna have a pad that's perfect to it. If you can find the pad and the sandpaper that the holes match up perfect with your pad, then boy did you get lucky. But it's not essential that they line up perfectly at all. Just kind of try to get it good as you can. So that. Good enough. Yeah, we are on 3,000. We are done sanding after this. A little more time on the bottom there than the top. You might wonder why that was. It's just I wasn't getting that floating feeling. But if you remember, our 2000 locked up a little bit on us towards the end of that second turn and really didn't do the job that it should have. So it's all right. I guess the point on that one is, you know, you can always come over with that 3000 and just spend a little bit more time. Again, you're really not doing any cutting with a 3000 grit pad. You're just putting this gel coat to perfectly smooth. And that's what we're getting right now. Here we go. One more time. Hey, Chew. Call that dog Chewy because she makes a noise that sounds just like Chewbacca when she's happy. shine coming through. Bugger gets a little heavy after a while. So nice if you can learn how to do it with both hands. I am not super duper happy with that 3,000 outcome. If I could put my finger on why, I'd tell you, but I just can't, but I don't like it, so I'm going to do it one last time. So most of these you've seen me do twice.
Here comes this one.
This one's going to go 3 times. The better you can get this, the better your number one is going to work. We're going to switch here in a minute to the rubbing compound. So take your time, just like everything. I'm glad this is done, because my arms are sure getting tired. Especially with that suction, it just adds like an extra annoyance to this whole deal. And done with the sanding. So that is as far as we're going to go sanding. And can you grab me that buffer? I think I set it on the swim platform. One last wipe with this rag, and we'll put that in the
What are the
dirty clothes.
what are the bonnets?
I have a bonnet over here, hon. And that's the sanding on that stretch of boat, but that's how you have to do the whole boat. Like I say, man, this is not a quickie. If you want to do quickie kind of stuff, then that's fine, but there's a lot of channels to show you how to do that. I'm going to be back with you here in a second while I get sorted out. Alright guys, so I took just a second here and I covered this already, but you just take a little bit. We are going to divide this area we were just sanding into half so that we don't do too much at once. Just going to wipe it on with a t-shirt. You can use that yellow bonnet I showed you that comes with the sander, or the buffer rather. There's the buffer. Auto spot. 23 bucks. Let's see how she works. This is 3M number 1. You should be watching this as a series, so we will get up to that in a bit. Sometimes when you're first starting out with the buffer, now guys, the buffer, you don't have to worry about this middle rib thing. Sometimes the bonnet just doesn't like to play nice the first time of the day that you're using it. That's what I'm running into right now. Alright, so when that happens, you gotta grab your alcohol. Grab a different bag. But this is also why you don't want to do too big of an area all at once, is because this wax is just gonna... There's a wax in this cutting. This buffing compound has like a wax inside of it. Not sure if it's an actual wax, but it acts like a wax. Alright, so let's try this one more quick time. I'm sure, you know what I'm going to do is grab my water bottle and just give it a, like that, just a mist. It kind of helps a little bit on this first round. Don't do that every time. You don't need to anyhow. Alright. Let's pick that wax up right away. Alright. Or that rubbing compound. So this is 3M number 1. It goes to about 3,000 grit, I would guess. I mentioned in another video that you either have to watch yet, or it's coming up, or maybe you've watched it already, but I've mentioned in there that these compounds break down as you use them. So you can't do the quick like you did with the sanding, just kind of, you know, hit it twice and color good. That won't work out for you nearly as well as if you just let this sit there and break down a bit. That's my ring, sorry guys. I'm just letting that float. Let the bonnet do its work, let the compound do its work. It's about done now. I'd give it another minute or two. Gonna try to fade up with where I was yesterday over here. And that's pretty good for the 1,000. For the number 1. Geez, you know, I'm just going to keep doing that, guys. By the way, while we switched over, cracked open an ice cold Hams. Great alternative to you if you're on that whole Bud Light kick. American made company, still American made, been around a long time. Super good beer. I think it tastes exactly like Heineken. Okay, we're switching to the number 3, kind of a blue colored compound, I suppose is what I would call it. Again, we're going to try to pick that up inside that terry cloth bonnet. And now we're just going to let it kind of break down and do its work. And again, you do not have to worry about this rib with the buffer. That's only the sander that matters on. However, you're going to get a better buff job if you do it this way, right? But I mean, you don't have to worry about destroying it. You can go over it like that. No pressure at all on this. Floating it, floating it. All right. One thing to check, make sure that your pad isn't getting what they call loaded up, right? Full of wax, and you just have to kind of feel that and just make sure you don't have any clumps, any kind of buildup in that terry cloth. What I do now, especially on an old-timey boat like this, I'm going to go back over it with just a little quick run of the number 1 and one more time with the number 3, and then we'll move over to our other half. So that's that white compound. Sometimes you just get a piece of that just kind of sticks to the boat. That was just a little thing there, but just take your fingernail and rub that off. Then go over it again with your buffer. So this is number 1 going over top of what we just finished with number 3. So I'm putting a little scratches back into it to take the little scratches back out of it. But what I find when you do that is it kind of helps out on some of what some people might call ghosting, where it kind of leaves like a film or something behind. I'm not a chemist, I can't tell you what that is. All I know is this works. So there's your number 1. Last time with the number 3. Like that. Gonna have to hit that with some alcohol a second, guys. Let's get this picked up in the pad first. So this is number 3, goes up to, I would say, about 5,000 grit if you just sat here long enough doing it, but probably like 4,500 grit, something like that in reality. seeing the results of that. Hope you are. Should be able to see that power cord in the reflection. You should be able to see quite a bit, I would imagine. And there you have it, guys. And now you can say I showed you how to do it. Now I'm going to actually do this here a second. I can feel that my terry cloth still has a bit in it. So I'm going to go up and down. Again, this is the buffer, not the sander. Don't do this with the sander. But that should kind of clean out my pad a bit. You can get anything that looks a little cloudy yet. Just kind of park on it a minute. That is the last step before we put a polish on it. In this case, we are going to ferry down a couple of these scratches. Sometimes you got to get your face right in there to be able to see what you're doing. I think she's looking pretty good there. And now this boat will not turn back to that fuzzy color. This boat will not look like crap again. With proper maintenance, that area will never have to have any of this done to it again, except for, you know, maybe once in a while a 3,000 quick run over it, and keep her waxed, keep a nice marine grade wax on her. I am just not liking this right here. See, you know, be picky, but alright. Time to bust out that alcohol again. Not the beer. Sure you got a clean spot that you're working with. Doesn't have a bunch of sticks on it in my case. Put alcohol on a rag. Give her a good once over. Now, if you kept that other half of your towel, you take two pieces and you just quickly go like this. Kind of medium hard, I guess. If you had two towels, I'd say to be using both hands. One hand doing that, one hand doing this. You come through, and that just gets any little residual crap off of it. So there you have it. We're going to put a nice little cleaning wax on here that'll take off any of this stuff, but I don't know if you can see my hand in there or not. But that's pretty good for a 47-year-old boat. I could sit here and spend all day and try to get that even polish here, but not going to. It's an old boat. That's good enough. We have polished the gel coat. That was our intent on doing this. That attempt has been accomplished, and then I'll be doing this half forward and then another section, and then this whole side of the boat will be done. All right, guys, thanks for staying tuned in, and again, if you have any questions or whatever, ricksrealrestorations@gmail.com. I'd be glad to answer anybody's questions. Y'all have a good one.